concept shows are a dime a dozen, especially for franchise shows. Star Trek is no different, with a literal laundry list of shows planned out that never made it anywhere. One of these is so good that I decided to bring it to the forefront of today's video, Star Trek Federation. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. Star Trek Federation is an undeveloped spin-off produced by Bryan Singer. The show was set in the year 3000, nearly 600 years after Star Trek Nemesis. The show would chronicle the decline and rebirth of the United Federation of Planets, now led by a new USS Enterprise. Humanity had become complacent, and many worlds decided to abandon the Federation due to humanity's selfish nature. Because of this, Starfleet became stretched thin, and with the limited species, ships became outdated. A new enemy appears called the Scourge, who attack and destroy a Federation ship, the USS Sojourner, and 2 colony worlds. The only survivor is one Lieutenant Commander Alexander Kirk. Due to humanity's now unreliable state, authorities do not believe Kirk, causing Vulcan, Bajor, and Beta Z to leave the Federation. In this future, the Ferengi have now become the dominant power in the galaxy, led still by their money-making ways.
They have weapons. You have weapons, everyone has weapons, but right now, no one has a clear advantage. So the price of peace is at an all-time low.
They are now the new powerhouse, led by a female Nagus. They rule off the Great Federation's cashless society being restricted, allowing their capitalist ways to show. They do so by making big bucks marketing the Bajoran religion around the galaxy, including fanfare trips to the famous wormhole. Vulcans and Romulans have reunified, spending the last 3 centuries rebuilding their societies under logic and what is best to unify their people. The Klingons have undergone a massive change, perhaps the biggest out of any of the famed species. Instead of being a Viking-like species built on war, they've now changed to a civilization of warrior mystics akin to the Tang dynasty. This change has also altered their look, including their ships that now look sleek and serene. The Cardassian people have now transformed into a society of artists and philosophers. Once a race led by conquest and war, they've now dedicated to a philosophy of the view of the galaxy as a place created solely to test the faithful.
What do you know of Cardassian history?
I know that once you were a peaceful people, with a rich spiritual life.
What did peace and spirituality get us? People starve by the millions.
Earth in particular has become fat and happy, leading to complacency where humans are giving up on exploration for incremental colonization and focusing more on the righteousness of their own culture. That sounds a bit familiar. Starfleet in particular has been reduced to a mere peacekeeping force, due to the size of their fleet being greatly reduced. The series proposal was outlined by the creative team of Bryan Singer, Ralph McQuarrie, and Robert Meyer Burnett. They had written a massive detailed outline based on 2 specifics. 1, to acknowledge storytelling on television had evolved. Shows like Lost, The X-Files, and Battlestar Galactica were taking on more complex serialized stories. So should Trek. Secondly, the plan was to return to Trek's roots of telling compelling stories about our world today. The group was keen on acknowledging the canon and the events that precede the show, but wanted to take the Trek universe upside down and shake it vigorously. The pitch inception was created over a sushi dinner in late 2005, with a 25-page document written by Robert Meyer Burnett and Jeffrey Thorne. While the idea intrigued quite a few people, it never made it in front of executives at CBS or Paramount. In 2006, J.J. Abrams signed on to produce a new Star Trek movie, and the idea was effectively shelved. So, why do I love this idea? Star Trek has always had this obsession with prequels, going back to Enterprise and now Discovery. You can also throw in the Kelvin universe. For whatever reason, it feels so keen on filling out those events, but never jumping forward to see where everything is, how things evolved or maybe de-evolved. This has somewhat changed with the 3rd season of Discovery, and some excellent story work in the underrated game Star Trek Online. Some of these ideas are also somewhat played with on Picard, specifically humanity losing their way, but I think it lacks the sophistication to make it compelling. It plays awkward, and in my opinion, is far too close to the series we've already seen that it feels a bit jarring. Would Starfleet seemingly flip a switch and be so closet-minded in a span of a few years?
The Federation does not get to decide if a species lives or dies.
Yes, we do.
How could we ignore it?
By adhering to the oath you took as Starfleet officers to seek out life, not destroy it.
At least several centuries would explain a lot. The idea of the new Enterprise going out to save the Federation find the truth out behind this new foe, as well as attempt to establish a new Enterprise crew just sounds so awesome. Burnett has also stated he took heavy influence from some incredible sci-fi work, including Stephen Baxter's Manifold trilogy, as well as the highly acclaimed Isaac Asimov Foundation series. The crew, which includes what I believe would be the great, or maybe just too great nephew of Kirk, sounds quite good, with everyone having an interesting background that would create plenty of drama. Star Trek Federation sounds like it would have really shook things up for the universe and created some unique storytelling. Unfortunately, it is highly unlikely the show will ever see the light of day, despite some fascinating storytelling. If you'd like to see me cover some other series, let me know in the comments. Do you think this is an interesting idea, or would it be too complicated? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next video.